welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Today, I have a very special guest here for the show today. Can you go ahead and announce to the world who you are and where you're calling from?
Yes. Hello, Kimberly. I am Christine Blosdale. I am the expert authority business coach. I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs get out of their own way to market their business. And I'm originally from Los Angeles, born and raised, but I am here in close to Sydney, Australia.
Yes, what is the weather out there? I asked you earlier.
It's
Yes.
cold. It's
Oh,
complete
wow.
opposite. See, I'm from Los Angeles too. I'm used to like December and January. I remember it being kind of cold. Not nothing ridiculous, but and then in at this time it would be so hot, and it's the opposite. So now it's our winter, and in December, January, February, it's hot here. So it's my system's
Is
on
it
different.
is it the way the moon is positioned, or why y'all get like wintry weather during the December or
We're just like on the
or
opposite side of
yeah, the
the
opposite.
planet. We're about
Yes.
7,000 miles away, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't. It's a long flight, Kimberly. When you come and visit me, it's like a 16-hour flight or something. It's long. Yeah.
Wow. Can we talk about your past, present, and future, whatever wherever you want to start off? I can't wait to hear this.
Yes. So, well, I guess my past, I like I said, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I was very blessed to be raised primarily by my mother and my grandmother, and because my parents divorced when I was 2 years old. So, and I was actually later I was very grateful for that because I was like, you two are, you're not meant to be together for very long. Um, but my grandmother and my mother just loved me so much and showed me how much they loved me, and they believed in me, right? And they um my mother used to get she was a single mom, so she would have to work. She worked in a bar, and I remember her getting ready and she would ask my opinion. As a little kid, she would ask my opinion about what she was wearing. Like, she'd be getting made up and putting makeup on and putting outfits on. And she'd say, Christine, does this look okay? Should I wear this? And I'd go, I'd sit there and I'd go, yeah, that's good. Or no, you know, those boots go with that better. And so at a really young age, I was encouraged for my opinion. I was valued for what I thought about my mom, and she would if she had a wig, because she would wear wigs, right? So because that's what she did in the in those days. So she would put a wig on, and I would go, oh no, like no, 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 and she would change. So from a really young age, I I found that I had value, and um my suggestions, my opinions, my taste had value. And so I was very lucky for that, and it helped me grow because I was extremely shy as well, which is very interesting because um I'm very much out there now, and I have 3 podcasts. I was a radio host for 20 something years,
Tell me
producer.
about that. Tell me about
Yeah.
that.
So so before my radio days, I worked for a couple years, I think, maybe 2 years, for America Online, which you're too young to know that much about
That's
AOL.
90, that's 95,
Yeah.
95 through 97 or
That was
something. Yeah.
those were some fun years, actually.
Yeah.
It was really before social media, took over, and I was very lucky. I got to write for America Online, and I did it through a cartoon character. I didn't do it as Christine. I did it through a character called Beatbox Betty. And no, I'm not going to beatbox because I, I'm horrible at it. But Beatbox Betty was this really vampy cartoon character. She had a tiny waist and big hips, and she had a martini in her hand, and she was this character that I wrote through, and I did all my movie reviews. I did celebrity interviews through her. Um, all that good stuff, and it was good fun, going to the premieres and the red carpet stuff, but then 9/11 happened, and, you
How
know,
did you feel with 9/11?
mm, I think like everybody, I remember where it was such a shock to the system, and I mean, personally, I was like, I'm that kid in the back. I'm that kid at the school that, like, when the teacher says, "You must do this, you must do that," I'm the one that raises the hand and goes, "Wait a second, I got a question. Uh, this doesn't make sense." And so I was blindsided by it, as everyone was, and scared, of course, because scary messages were being put out. But I was also like, "Well, why? Why would they do this? Why would this happen?" Right? And so I was sort of searching for those answers, and I was not and I was thinking what I was doing, working for AOL, doing the entertainment Hollywood stuff. I just thought that was so not important, right? And so I was really searching for something that brought meaning to my life. And then I stumbled across, as you do when you're in your car and you're going through radio stations. Everything was very heavy about this, the attacks and all of that. And I came across a radio station that was very unique, and it was not so much, it was just people talking and giving a bit of history also on our foreign policy with the Middle East, how that's been. And I wasn't taught that in school. As Americans, we're not taught that. We're not taught about, uh, or Iran, what our involvement with that country, has been. So anyway, so I just found it very interesting, and I drove to that radio station, to thank them for their work that they've done, and just to, introduce myself. And they said basically, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I'm a cartoon character, talking to celebrities on the red carpet." And they go, "Well, that's cool." And I said, "Yeah, but it's all right." And they said, "Would you like to volunteer?" And I said, I can do that. I can volunteer at the radio station." They go, "Yeah." So I started volunteering, and 2 weeks into volunteering, somebody was leaving. They needed, an assistant producer. I said, "I can write for you." And they said, "Yeah, why don't you come and do that?" And so I started. The pay was horrible, um, but I loved it. And then I got the opportunity one day when the host of the drive time, slot was, sick, or something happened and they couldn't come on the show. I was asked if I could do host the show, and I was resistant. I didn't want to do it. I was like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm supposed to be behind the scenes." And they said, "You have to, because the show must go on." And so I slipped on the headphones, got in front of a microphone, went into this dark studio, and the on air the on air light went on, and it was like my whole life changed. As soon as that on air light went on, I just I said, "This is home. This feels really, really good to connect with people." And you don't know, as when you're a podcast host, like, Kimberly, you don't know who's listening to you. You only put it out there. And some people will give you feedback, and they'll write you, or they'll comment on your posts and things. But a lot of times you don't know who's listening to you. So it's a very interesting career that I had for 20 years. I was there at the station. Yeah.
Do you control the gimmicks and the music that come on, or do the producer that produce, or are you the producer that produce?
I was the for the shows that I did, I was both the producer and the host. So I picked out the music. I got to interview some amazing artists. I had such a wonderful time. I actually got to interview to, Wangari Maathai. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Um,
No.
Wangari Maathai, actually, you should look her up. She won. It wasn't the Nobel, Peace Prize, but it was another one that was quite big, um, because basically in her village in Africa, she was, responsible for planting trees. She had a whole campaign where all of the women were, or planting these trees so that they would have, obviously, like, food to eat and all that. But she had a whole very powerful, influence. and it was such a great conversation with her. I was mesmerized. But I've got to interview a whole bunch of amazing people through that process. So I was very grateful for that opportunity.
It and she is like a singer.
No, she's a public. Let's see. I'm gonna just look this up right now. Hold on.
That's fine.
Sorry. She's a Kenyan environmentalist. Oh, she did win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay.
She's the kind of a person too that when she walked into a room, like you just wanted to like cuddle up with her and just sit and have a conversation about anything. Wangari Maathai, she has passed. She passed in 2011, but that's Wangari.
What did she pass away from?
I'm not certain, but she was a political activist
Oh, that had to be what? Where was
in
it?
Kenya.
Kenya.
Um,
Yeah.
She founded the Green Belt movement, which was an environmental NGO focused on planting trees and environmental conservation, but also women's rights. So she was like not an outlaw, but she was like somebody that the establishment, in the government and the culture there too was just like women are not supposed to be doing this kind of thing, and she just stepped right into it. She's written a really amazing book too. You might want to check that out. But just magic when she walked into a room.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah,
for telling me that. And
yeah.
what else have you done?
Oh well, since then, since because I loved so much the art of radio and the interview. When podcasting came around, this has been about maybe 9 or 10 years ago. I thought this would be a great thing to do, is to do a podcast, because with radio, you have a great interview like with Wangari, and it's only heard by the people that are in their cars at that moment. And then once that interview is done, it's gone. It's just, only a few people heard it. And so when podcasting came around, I thought, hey, this is a cool thing, because I can do interviews with people, and it can be accessible for a whole bunch of people for years, if it's still going.
Mhm.
And so I started getting into podcasting, like I said, about 9 years ago maybe, and loved it. And then I found that my true calling was teaching slash coaching, and helping especially women who who are talented and gifted, and to get the word out about their business. If they've just started their own solo business or coaching programs, I wanted to help them get the word out. So that's what I've been doing the last 10 years, I would say.
Tell me an instance where a person was like your who you've actually interviewed, like, or not interviewed but helped. Like, tell me about an instance where something good happened or funny happened or you got close to them, like your special person that you were able to help.
Mm. Oh, there's so many. One person comes to mind, who is actually, she's a Reiki master healer in Los Angeles, and she's also a hypnotherapist. She's been a hypnotherapist for like 25 years, and she just had a little tiny office in Los Angeles, and her business basically was just one-on-one people who found out about her, referrals and things like that. And she always wanted to have a platform that she could share her stories with, and her knowledge about um, how powerful we are to heal ourselves and to help heal others. And so she always wanted to do a podcast. Now she was I, I think when she started working, she was 72, 75. I'm not certain because I don't ask those questions. But she was someone who even said, I want to have a podcast, but I think that the technology that I'm very technophobic. I think it's going to be too hard to know all of the stuff I need to know. And I said, I will show you how to do it. That's one of my favorite things is to help people create their own podcast. So I basically worked with her for a few weeks. We got it. We put everything together, and now she's in her mid 70s. She has a hit podcast show. She's interviewed so many people and reached so many more people, and she just interviewed Pat Benatar not too long ago. And
What
so
was
I'm
your
like, so she's a little rock star,
what
Um,
was your reason for doing podcasting? Like not as in what was your reason, but like what did you want to do when you did podcasting? How did you feel? Like did you have hit any question, any more instances or cases with the podcast that you have now? Because you said you moved on from it, right? So do you go to it sometimes?
with my own podcast? Oh no, I still have my own podcast. Um,
So it's
I have developed a new podcast which is getting more attention than my older one. So I have a
how many
long I've
how
got
many
3
how many people do you have with it? Like
that work
like
on it, or
well, not work on it, but how many people do you have that listen to it? Do you know?
oh, I don't even know. I don't pay attention to that so much. Um because
I
I
don't
use it.
either.
Yeah, I
I
use it as
used
a
to.
marketing I use it a bit as a marketing tool, but really it's my passion. So the Out of the Box with Christine is my long running interview style show. And then I've just created the TikTok influencers you really should know about because I love TikTok. I am addicted to TikTok. I I think it's our new media. I think we're getting we're getting the information that we need through that outlet, and that's why I think it's also a target, and they want to get rid of TikTok. It's also competition for Facebook and Instagram, so there's probably a financial thing in there as well. But I just think it's brilliant.
Wow.
It's true.
You're funny.
It's
Okay.
true.
So,
Do
let's
you have a
see.
TikTok channel, Kimberly?
Yes, I have a TikTok channel. Yes.
Don't you love TikTok?
I love it. I have like over 300 people watching my show like a
Yeah.
day. And that's not a lot, but that's a lot to me when I work hard at what I do. Like I
Yeah.
try, like you've been my first guest in my hiatus, and I welcome you. You know, I can't
Thank
even
you.
count how many episodes I've done. I can't even count. Like it's probably like been two, 3,000 videos,
Phew,
you know.
my
So
God.
yeah, especially with me alone, it's probably been like 15,000 hours or something. Yeah, or more.
Yeah, so you might as well repurpose that content too and get it on TikTok because I find with TikTok that the algorithm is such that your tribe, your community, if you're consistent, and you obviously are, that they'll find you and they'll support you and they will love on you. Unlike other, Facebook is okay. It's like your cousins and your uncles and the people you went to high school with. But I find TikTok is a very different beast altogether, and I love it.
Can you tell me, like, really, one thing that's different from Facebook than TikTok, or TikTok than Facebook?
Definitely the algorithm. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's
the algorithms. Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's it's just such that you're, again, if you're doing in, and I'm erratic, I'm all over the place with my content, I'll do something
Me
funny, I'll
too.
do something serious, I'll do all kinds of different things. But I find that, and there's the kooky people and there's the negative folks, like in anywhere. But I find that it really, as long as you are consistent and you're putting out that information, the people that are supposed to find you will find you. And it's just a very unique space. And that's where I go to get information. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news for a very long time. I just go to TikTok. And you have to filter it. You have to kind of go, okay. But be careful what you stay and watch, because if you stay and watch something for 5 seconds, the algorithm is going to say that she wants more of that, right? So
Yeah.
if you're watching videos of cats playing with yarn, you're going to get a lot of cat videos.
Yeah, and they TikTok has a lot of other cool things, like you can pay to have followers, more followers and
To
stuff.
promote, yeah, to
Yeah,
promote.
to promote your brand. And yeah, I like TikTok. So where do you see yourself going in the future?
Ah, right now I have a few clients that I work with individually, and I love doing that. And I have um, a small group in my mastermind. We meet every other week, and I I love that. I want to expand my mastermind. I want to have more. It just so happens, and it's not that I'm sexist or anything like that, and I don't say only women could join my mastermind, but it just so happens that everyone that's in my mastermind are women that are in business, and
Hmm.
I really want to support.
Maybe you're supporting the women.
Yeah, it's just happened that way. So
Yeah,
it's all good. But I
yeah.
really want to support more women who are struggling right now,
Hmm.
getting out of a job that they don't like, um, exploring the talents that they have, the gifts that they have. I really want to help and be a platform to get the word out about them. That's one of my favorite things. So if I could do that on a larger scale, I'd love that. Yeah.
Okay, and if you had to give a piece of advice out there to a young entrepreneur who wants to be in your shoes, what would it be?
Authenticity is the key. I The days of comparing ourselves to others or trying to be perfect, the Kardashian, you know, it's all falling by the wayside. And really, what people right now want, they're craving, is relatability and authenticity.
I knew
Um,
you were going to say that. Yeah.
it's true, and that means showing up in all of ourselves, in our, sometimes being vulnerable, but it's being real and saying, you know what, I struggle too. I have sometimes days where I don't know what to create on content wise, because my brain is like busy thinking about this, that, or the other. And that authenticity, and you being you, is really glorious. And it will be rewarded if you keep at it. Just don't give up, right? Don't give up.
Okay. And for any, like, do you have a IMDb page?
I don't I don't know if I'm on. I
You know,
am
you
probably.
can get one. You can get one and create your own.
Well, I have an IMDb listing, but that's when I did some work in not tele yeah, um, television or film long time ago.
Whoa!
I was a I was a production assistant like a gazillion years ago. So I have a film credit there, but it was probably, again in the 90s, in the early
What
90s.
was the movie called?
Oh, it was a horrible movie. It was with Steven Dorff and a very young, I think it was Reese Witherspoon. But it was a horrible movie. I don't even remember what it was called. It was horrible. And you know
Oh
what they
no.
did? You know what they did,
What?
Kimberly? Okay,
What?
so this is what some film studios do. I don't know about all of them, but this is what this one did. So they're spending all this money on the production, right? Every second is like, how much money, how much money. They got the star, they got the director, they've got like all their crew and everything, and they're spending a fortune every day. And at the end of the night, it's usually night shoots because it's cheaper, I guess. I don't know. So at the end of the night, when it's like 4 in the morning, they give the film and the sound, because they were two different things. They give the film and the sound from that day to a production assistant. We used to call ourselves PAs or pissants. They give this kid being paid $10 an hour, to get in their little rickety car. I had an old car. I had to put that stuff in, and I had to go drop it off in Los Angeles to the film processing place, and then go to the sound process. So they're they're taking all of the day's work, that's probably worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, who knows, and giving it to me when I was, struggling, hungry, and tired, and I'd be like driving in my little car that could barely make it to deliver it. It was just a strange situation. I'm glad I'm not there
Wow.
anymore, but sometimes you gotta, you gotta work your way up.
So I mean, dang, you've done a lot. You have done a lot. And so how can the people reach you?
The best way that they can reach out to me, and I absolutely encourage people to ask if they want, they can get a discovery call with me, and they can tell me all about what they're doing and what they want to do, and if I can help them either create the podcast or uh, create a TikTok channel, help them with their videos and things like that. I'd love to. They just go to expertauthoritycoach.com, and that's the best way to reach me. They can also Google me, Christine Blosdale, but a lot of times people don't know how to spell that. So expertauthoritycoach.com is the quickest way to get to me.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Miss Blosdale. Stay on the line for just one quick
Thank
second.
you. Absolutely.
You all take care, be safe, and I will see you guys another time. Bye.
Never waste my time. You all I want.